Okay, here we're going to take the LCD display and attach a thermometer to it. So we've seen how to install this LCD, a lot of wiring. Again, we've got a potentiometer over here, a bunch of wiring. And then what I have over here is actually a thermocouple. This is a 10,000 ohm resistor that goes in between there, and it's an analog input, so it gets connected to AO, right? So you've got going from ground through the resistor. We're reading the analog output here, goes through the resistor, and it's powered by 5 volts, right? And again, the LCD display is the same as usual, okay? So we're just adding that sort of input onto this. So coming over to the code again, there's that library you have to make sure you have installed for the liquid crystal, okay? This is the analog pin that the temperature probe, the thermocouple, is put on, so that's 0. This is setting up the LCD inputs, which are pins 7 through 9, okay? So my void setup, again, we just let it know that the LCD is 2 rows and 16 characters in each row, okay? So starting our void loop, this is the main loop that we've got right here, okay? First thing we do is we find our temperature reading, set it equal to the variable temp reading. And again, I'm doing that using the analog input 0 that I set up here for the temp pin, okay? So once I get that reading, then basically this line right here is knowing the conversion factors and whatnot for our specific probe to get the temperature in Kelvin. And in fact, that's not actually all there is to it. It's basically these 2 lines, okay, to take that temperature reading and get it into the temperature of Kelvin. And again, these are just set up based on the thermocouple that we've got there, okay? These next 2 lines are just conversion factors, if you know how to do that, going from the temperature Kelvin that we get from the probe itself and convert it to either Celsius or Fahrenheit. So this is just based on the probe that we've got, getting it in Kelvin, then converting it to Celsius and temperature. Now, again, starting up in the upper left, that's what this is saying. Go ahead and write temp, and then we have all of these spaces between temp and C, because within these spaces, I'm going to put in what the temperature is. So basically, it prints that. Then it comes down and says, okay, well, at temp at 0.6, where T is 1, E 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's basically that 6th guy over there, okay? Start is basically set it there and then put in that temperature, okay, for temp C, okay? And then basically it waits half a second, takes another reading, and prints it out. And that's what we have over here, printing out here. Again, the temp is getting printed out right here. Again, at number 6, it puts in that temperature that it's reading, and there you have it. Over here is the probe. It's a pretty small probe. Keep that in mind. Again, this is a 10,000 ohm resistor hooked to the analog input. Now, if you notice, it's at room temperature, about 22 degrees. I'm just going to grab this with my fingers, and sometimes the connection is a little shaky because it's pretty small. But you can see that in my fingers, the temperature has definitely gone up, okay? 10 degrees Celsius, 11 degrees Celsius, whatever it was. And then I let go, and it comes back as it equilibrium, goes back to equilibrium within the in the room. So that's how you can hook a temperature probe into the LCD display using an Arduino.